just waiting for people to show up. Let's see. All right. It's streaming now. Okay, let's see if I can do a couple things. I don't think my audio is on. Let me check the audio. 0.9 data. Okay, let's see. Desktop audio. It should be on. Test, test. Shoot. I'm trying to figure out my audio here. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Audio sounds good. That's good. I thought it wasn't working. Okay. Getting old. My eyesight's not what it used to be. So if you want to join, there's a link here. If you click on that, whatever your platform is, whether you're on PC or one of your smartphones, you should be able to download it and join it. And just, thanks, Mary. Go ahead and use that link. If you log in, if you want to go to get in, and you can just use that ID, and that's what'll get you in. All right, TBC. Oh no. Sorry, Bram. Yeah, it was a good show. Tim always does a good show. So, are you coming in, Bram? Oops, sorry. I've got a lot of stuff here I gotta clean up. Hi, Ariel. Are you joining us today, Ariel? Oh, okay. It's lonely. Just being live streaming on my own. You could still call in, Ariel, even if you don't have a camera. I mean, just listening to you talk is awesome. And let's see. Oh, there we go. Hi, Dale. I can't hear you. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, Jonathan. Someone please call in. Oh, I hear something. Dale, say something.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay.
We don't have you on camera, but we can hear you.
I guess I don't have a camera.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We're all talking anyways. Let's wait for a couple more people. Are you coming in from Tim's live show? Oh, a picture. I don't think I have it with me. Let me look. I'll try to find a picture. And it would be in my photos, I think. Let's see. While people are joining, I'm just gonna try to find a picture of my kiddo. Hey, Eric, happy birthday.
Hey, thank you. How are you?
Good. You triggered?
My trigger, my triggered.
Let's see.
Ooh, I'm so triggered.
Heck, mainstream media and TYT's been triggered lately.
Whoa, they're triggered by the truth.
Yeah.
Completely triggered. Ooh, my triggered. Ooh, I'm so triggered.
Mainstream media and TYT's been triggered lately.
Oh, could you pause? Can someone pause the or not pause, but mute the YouTube stream?
I bet
Ooh,
it's
I'm actually not. I'm actually not on.
It's me.
Okay. Ooh, who is this?
It's
Hi,
Kelly.
Kelly. How's
Hey,
it going?
Kelly.
Hang on. Oh, wait. See? I gotta take the Band-Aid off.
There you go.
See?
Did I shut it down? Shoot. Where's the... Sorry, people. I think I might have messed something up.
Oh, that's okay.
Probably
Nothing
me.
to worry about.
You
Okay,
can blame
there
it
we
on
go.
me. Shit. Where did I go?
Alright. Save image as...
What's wrong?
Okay.
They
I'm
indicate
trying.
that
Oh,
you
there
need
we are.
to mute the. You just need to mute the YouTube and then just concentrate on the Rings Central meeting.
I feel stupid. I've been here this whole time.
So a
Wait.
lot of this is just getting set up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. We
We can
can.
hear you perfect. Crystal clear.
Okay.
Let's see. Alright, so special request. This picture of my kids
Yes.
and dog. Let's see.
Where did the baby go?
Oh, she's feeding with my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Here we go. Can people see that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Aw.
so that's me and my wife, my dog, his name's Spartacus, my daughter Leela, and the baby Roland.
Oh.
Cool. Congrats.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, your daughter's adorable. And the baby too, I can just barely see him, but
Yeah.
oh
Cool.
So that's that.
wow. So labor wasn't too bad, I hope?
I don't think it's ever too good, but
No, but was it fast?
yeah, it was pretty fast.
Okay, fast is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's not a very pleasant thing.
Yeah. When my mom was in labor with me, she was actually on her way to the movie theater
What
To
to
movie
actually
was
go
it?
see Rambo 3.
Oh. Hey, there's Russians in that one, right?
Mm.
Russia, Russia,
Oh
Russia.
man, it's all tying in. Eric, he's a Russian agent.
Ooh, Russian agent. Ooh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I gotta say, not to sound paranoid, but I am starting to wonder, like, because of Rokana and Jaffe, making some sort of comments like, oh, I could have gone on Meet the Press, and he's like, oh, I have the Tim Black, stamp of approval. Like, I wonder who's watching. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean? I think he's getting more attention, and I don't know, some powers that be, I think, are kind of alerted to the fact that, I mean, he's got Congress people coming on and it being interviewed. That's big.
yeah.
So, kind of wonder if they're starting to figure out what's going on over here.
What's funny is HA today did a video, and at the start of the video, he says, I'm healthy and all this stuff, and I'm not going to commit suicide. So if anything happens, he just wants us to keep investigating his murder.
That's funny.
AJ stands
Well,
for something.
not funny, but I just could not believe I happened to catch when Jared Beck tweeted that. I hadn't seen it till he tweeted it about the murder of the prosecutor. I caught it like 2 minutes after he posted. What? I mean, how does this not why is this not plastered all over the news?
Well, I don't know. Did you see that there's a new murder of the? Were you just talking about the federal prosecutor?
Yeah, the one in Florida.
Yeah, the one in Florida.
Wasserman Schultz's whatever district,
Yeah,
right?
the same district that the DNC fraud lawsuit's in. Yeah.
Right. What?
That's
mean,
some
it's just-
that's some scary stuff right there.
Yeah.
What-
But we're crazy. We're conspiracy.
We're
theorists.
fringe.
Oh, yeah.
Dale, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's. I just don't seem to.
Oh, where's Dale?
Yeah, I'm the one that's. I don't have a picture.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I'm
just.
sorry.
This is
I
my
didn't
first
mean to.
time. Yeah. I have I have more. It just seems like it's there's it doesn't pass the smell test for a lot of things, and I feel very strongly that they with the lawsuit and all that that the DNC needs to be accountable for this. I mean, this is just like, are you kidding me? Because I I get the sense that a lot of American voters are basically uh, not happy with the Democrats of that, and I found myself agreeing with conservative for many different things, and it is based upon things that are American politics and not so much of the partisan politics. That's
Right.
just my take.
Yep.
Oh, this is weird.
I have to skedaddle for just a second. I'll be right
Okay, I gotta fix the feed. Some feed's
Oh, okay.
acting funky.
back. Okay.
Transform. Oh no. Oh, that's weird. I think I might have messed it up. What's going on here? Oh, okay. This is really weird. Oh, crud. What's that sound?
I have no idea. But it's okay. It sounds like
Shoot.
an ice maker, kinda.
Yeah. Fit to screen. Actually, we'll do that. Okay. Oh, things are really weird. Properties. Central meeting. Sorry, guys. I don't know why this is happening.
Oh, that's okay. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
If I stop it and start it, that might work.
What, stop it and restart it?
Well, I'm gonna try this, see if this works. All right, Jeremy and James are on.
Cool.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, James. Can you say something? Ooh, this looks better. Okay, Jeremy. Can't hear Jeremy. Don't see Jeremy. Oh, I see Jeremy now. We just can't hear you, Jeremy. And James. I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. Okay, I guess Jeremy's just listening.
Wait, how many people did you say could join in this?
So I downgraded the service, so it's 50 up to 50 people.
Wow.
But because it can be pretty bad with so many people, I may hide some of the videos. Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing? So I downgraded the service.
James, can you mute the YouTube live stream?
Because the what?
The YouTube live stream.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey.
Someone's playing in the background.
All right. How's that?
That's good, I think. Yep. It's clear. All right. Let's see. I think TBC is going to join us. But, all right. You guys keep talking. You guys don't have to wait for me.
Okay.
So, I guess Tim, maybe I bet he's watching that video now that he sent me earlier. I wish I had caught it right when he sent it. It was like 2 hours later. The thing in Florida.
Well, yeah. I mean, HA made a video of it, so I'm pretty sure they'll talk about it on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Big
Yeah,
time.
my take on it is I can't find any, the officer said to him, "Oh, you made some threats online and that's why we're kicking you out." I don't see anything. I mean, they could have been deleted, but I think it was just that they gave a heads up. We're going to go here and we're going to do this. So, note to anyone that wants to go into these places, don't give them a heads up. Like, don't put it on social media that we're going to go here and get them to speak some truth, because he basically, tweeted, or it may have been another guy that was working with him or something, that we're going to get some truth, when he mentioned Seth Rich. So they shut that down really quickly, left them out. But I don't see any really legit reason. I don't see any like actual threats. So
Is that the Broken Carpenter? I think he's still setting up.
oh, okay.
So, what are your thoughts about the James? I know we see kind of nothing, we hear nothing. In case you
I'm
were...
here.
Oh,
I'm here.
okay, I hear you. So, what are your thoughts about national media news, a national media news company covering a death before local media news? I mean, the Washington Post ended up doing that piece first, that article report of the Seth Rich death, and King 5 or was it King 5? No, Fox 5 DC. That reporter is pretty on top of the Seth Rich story, but that article didn't get posted until maybe 7 hours after the Washington Post article.
So you found that it was like time stamped, the Washington Post?
Yeah, you just have to look at the source, and then you can see the timestamp of the date published, and it includes the time.
That sounds like the insight. I had seen what somebody that called in mentioned. Somebody Podesta, a wife or something, is on the police board
The
or
Washington
something.
D.C. Board.
That sounds to me like somebody made a call and said, write this up, write this story. We get ahead of this before. I mean, that's pretty damning, I think.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, James? Dale? You guys can chime in.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that it just seems so strange that you just have it on that. I just don't understand how, that how could they not do an investigation after having two shots or bullets of that. It's just I don't see how any law enforcement across in the country, when you have something like that, to not to have a investigation. I mean, it seems to me that would have been protocol.
Hello.
Hey, TBC, we hear ya.
Hey,
Hello?
Broken
Okay.
Carpenter. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Hi, guys. I got to figure all this stuff out still, so.
That's okay.
All right, Dale, keep going.
Yeah, so it's just that it's just that to me, I think it's just like apparently that I don't know if the DC mayor had anything to do with that, or and anything to do with not having the not having the investigation. I'm still not clear as to why this is not going forward. I don't know. It's I don't know. Are you guys wondering the same thing, or?
Yeah, there's just... Sorry, go on. Someone else can do it. But yeah, I'm in agreement. I have a feeling, but it's just the suppression of evidence, the suppression of helping out. It's always fishy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really impressed with Tim's video about that because, when he kind of said, well, I guess I won't say anything else until there's more information, I was kind of like, yeah, I agree. And then, as he said, I thought about it for a bit and I said, hell no to that. And then his comeback on that, like, he's exactly right. I don't know why I didn't kind of go there, but yeah, I mean, it's fine to go on and on about all these other victims of shootings. It's weird how much they're trying to pull the wool over all of every America's eyes and say, if you talk about it, you're a conspiracy theorist. If you talk about it, you're hurting the family. It's bizarre. It really is. And I'm glad he, said what he said and isn't gonna the Trump note thing. That was great. Tim's little on that. I think that was part of that same video where he was talking about. I think he's a little. We're all a little sleep deprived, but he was doing the one note Trump. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. It was just really funny. He was like, "I'm not. Yeah, the rest of the media can just keep going on the talking about Trump incessantly." And I'm going to continue to cover everything that I think is right to cover, including Seth Rich. So anyway, I thought it was great. Just epic Tim moments.
Yeah. Hey, the Broken Carpenter. It's funny because you're sitting in front of some of your posters, and your demilitarized the police looks like militarized the police.
Oh, well, that's right. There's a little bit of a delay here.
Yeah. Okay.
So I move, but my thingy on the screen doesn't, so it's kind of freaking me out, man.
You're showing up fine for us.
Okay, well, that works for me.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all too. I mean, I call, but I never look at anybody. So I dig this, Ebon.
Oh, thanks. Redneck Economics, we see ya.
Hi.
Hi, Redneck.
I don't think we hear you though. Still nothing.
I hear baby.
Oh yeah, I might have to have one of you guys host. So, Eric or Kelly, if I don't get that instruction video on how to do this, I can always host and have you guys as the. Oops, no, I didn't want that. I guess I can't. Never mind. So I would minimize myself if I could. Nope, I can't do that.
Eric and I did a little trial the other night.
Oh, and it works?
And yeah, it seemed to go okay, right, Eric?
Oh yeah, we just need to know how to do the streaming on YouTube.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I need to know.
All right. I'll let you guys. I'll get back to you guys on over the weekend for that stuff.
Okay. Sure. Take your time. No rush. We're in no hurry. We really understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you gotta help the baby, man.
Yeah, it's more my wife I need to help, not my baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, man. It's been a few years, but I was like super dad, so
So where are you located, Broken Carpenter?
I'm in Yakima, Washington.
Okay, I used to live in Seattle, so.
Oh, far up.
Yeah.
I was born in Oregon.
What was that?
Salem.
Oh,
Born
I used to work in Portland.
Sorry.
Who's that, James?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Oh, where are you from, James?
Colorado.
Oh, okay. And Dale?
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Keith Ellison is my congressman.
Oh, okay.
Congressman.
How do you like him as your congressman?
I actually like him really, really well. And on the very day that he came to my apartment, I had laryngitis, and I really wanted to talk to him about many issues about the things that we all know came to be about Hillary Clinton. And the thing that really bothered me was the fact that in Minnesota, clearly there was a lot of caucusing for Bernie Sanders,
Okay.
at least 63% of the state, and the fact that they had the super delegates, most of them were voting for Hillary Clinton, was it just got me really incensed about it because that was not representative to what was across the nation in terms of enthusiasm in the voter turnout. But as we already know, that um, Bernie Sanders got screwed. but as but as far as the representative, he does listen to his constituency, and so I definitely I really think that it was probably the best thing for him was actually to be being my congressman, and I think he would play a better role. I have a feeling that um, he wouldn't he wouldn't been that effective to being the DNC chairperson.
Jeremy's back. Awesome. Redneck and Alex, can you say something? So, see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Great. Awesome.
Awesome.
Hi.
All right, I kind of missed what everybody was talking about because I was getting everything set up.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Redneck.
Hey,
Hi. How are you?
doing good. How about y'all?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Jeremy, do you want to say something? See if your audio works. Okay, I think he's still configuring. I know where you're from, Stevie, because I watch your videos. But do you want to tell people where you're from?
Well, I'm from West Virginia, right in the middle of coal country, Chemical Valley, where all the excitement is.
Yeah. Are you happy with all your politicians? I know you. That's a no, but
Yeah, there might be one or two. Sean Hornbuckle's pretty good, Mike Pushkin, but other than that, yeah, not here.
I've driven through West Virginia a bunch of times the past couple months, actually, going to Michigan and back. So whereabouts?
I live in Charleston.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I drove through there lots of times.
Yeah, it's really pretty in most places, but just not the politics.
Right, right. I guess wait, is that the state capitol building? The big, when you're coming through there and all of a sudden there's this big domed.
Yeah, that's our capital.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I remember one time many years ago I drove through that way and it was, back when it got cold and snowy. And it was so weird. It was like all of a sudden there's nothing, and then all of a sudden there's that building. I was like, it looks like Russia or something.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah,
did.
it kind of stands out compared to the rest of the surroundings.
Right, it does. But it's pretty.
so
But yeah, that's flyover country. Like nobody drives through there, and so nobody, sees what real people are dealing with.
Yeah, and that's why I started making those videos because nobody ever talks about it. I mean, nobody knows what goes on here. And if you're interested, if you watch Blood on the Mountain, it's a wonderful history of West Virginia and all the things that we've gone through and the stuff that we're going through now. Because I know a few people have asked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent movie. Excellent movie.
Blood on the Mountain? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, me too. I have Netflix.
So
I actually had family. My father, my grandfather, and that side of family, they're all from West Virginia. So like Wheeling, Weston. And when I lived in Pennsylvania, we'd go down and we rafted to Cheat in the New River and what is it, the Gauley? I think it's in the New River Gorge, somewhere around there. Anyhow, I rafted down there too. It's a kick in the ass. It's a beautiful country. What the mines didn't mess up.
Right.
And I think one of the funnier videos, well, it's not funny, that Red Economics did is the legislators accidentally voted to not pollute the rivers and streams.
Yes.
Sure.
It's like you had one job, and then you messed it up, you know?
I'm gonna have to follow you if I'm not. Maybe I'm not. Is it at Redneck Economics? Okay, I'll have to find it. Sounds great. Yeah, I'm sure I'd be very interested in your videos. At Redneck Economics.
Anyways, I was kind of wondering what people's thoughts are if the Seth Rich, if it was found that he was assassinated, and if the DNC fraud lawsuit actually won, what do you think would be the result?
The destruction of the Democratic Party, and it's like a sunken ship, just like Bernie Sanders says.
But what would that look like?
Oof. The party will crumble. And sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, with the Democratic Party, it's really gonna sink the ship. It is. It is a sunken ship, and I got off right away because honestly, pardon my French when I say this, I didn't sign up for this shit when I first registered as a Democrat in 2008 when I voted for Obama.
Right. Did you guys see, I think it was Kim.com, one of his tweets said something about like multiple, high-ranking politicians would fall or something to that effect. I have to find it. But yeah, it could be, I mean, this would be bigger than Watergate. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's murder. It's what it is. It's murder. If that was true, it's murder. And it's a gigantic deal. And I agree. It's going to, there'll be like, the diehard leftovers. There's always going to be the Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her ilk. They're always going to be around, and they'll try to hold on to the name. But I see like Bernie or Tulsi or somebody in that situation picking up the reins and sort of saying, we're at this point, what do we got to lose?
Right.
James or Dale or Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
My walking around is.
Well, what I think what gets me is that where does the coroner's report? Where does the ballistic report? Police, it's been a year. There's something reports it should have.
Yeah, it seems like they don't release a lot to the public as far as helping with the investigation or anything like that. And
like nothing.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to do what they've always done, which is just ignore and deflect. I think they're going to try and paint the people that filed the lawsuit as, maybe like Republican operatives or something, like they're going to try and smear them some way, like they're the ones bringing down the party and it's not them. They will never admit defeat, ever.
Russia.
Yep.
Russia.
Russian comrades.
Always Russia. And there goes Vladimir Putin with the Marsha wig, using a Russian brush, just brushing his hair, and Hillary is like Russia, with the Jan wig and walking down the door.
Okay.
2 things on that. I think kind of like the whole election, where the whole narrative on TV with CNN and MSNBC and everything was Hillary is going to win, and it was like, yeah, there were people following that and believing that, and they were so shocked when when she lost. But I think we've got that's an alternate reality, and we've got reality, which is. A lot of people aren't paying attention to that. A lot of people are clued in otherwise. And so it's not going to be so shocking, So, but I have so much respect for the Becks, but I really think they shouldn't, like the Twitter trolls, they need to just sort of ignore that. I mean, I'm all for the fight and everything that but some of that has just gone like crazy, and I wonder if there are not people put up to kind of trying to take them down and make them look bad on Twitter. Have you guys been following any of that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just the trolls. They're just a bunch of trigger yelling trolls. I mean, honestly, that's honestly how I feel about the, it just feels like it is like, it feels like, correct the record is after,
Right.
After them. I mean, I hate to, bring that up, but it honestly does feel that way.
No, it does.
Because
I think they're kind of, in some ways, I mean, some of their comebacks are just like, they're amazing, and I'm laughing at it. But some of it's like, oh, just, ignore it. It would be better to just ignore it and not kind of stoop to that. I mean, I hate to say this, but it just doesn't look good. What they say.
yeah, but like, when it comes, yeah, I mean, I get what you mean when it, ignoring like trolls, but honestly, it's just like the trolls, honestly, they just don't want to stop. It's all the shilling. It just feels like it's just pure shilling right there.
But I mean, clearly they're Harvard-educated lawyers. They're no joke. But I mean, I think in some ways they should just sort of rise above it and stay professional. It would, in the court of public opinion, it would probably be better. But anybody else?
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing is, the establishment can't stand not having control. So I think, no matter what issue it is, they're going to have people on the other side, either to, work for them or to, smear the other side. But they just can't let go of the control.
Right. But do you guys think that they should, I don't know about that specifically on Twitter, do you think that's harming anything, or doesn't really matter, I guess?
I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah, I guess not.
I think that we're talking about like the hateful 8%, and I think that's what's giving them a lot of grief right now. And, and they like their lawyers. They like to give it right back. So, it goes with the territory, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what if it is actually, correct the record, trolling them? That's like harassment. I think they could sue them too.
Well, one thing I thought at first, I'm like, oh, please stop answering. It's just bad. Just ignore it. And then I thought, well, if they keep responding, even if it's petty bullshit, if they keep responding on Twitter, at least it will generate more, interest or attention to the whole thing, right? So maybe it's kind of a tactic. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see it as a good tactic and a bad tactic at the same time. But like me, I see it as mostly as good because the trolls, they're not going to stop. I know they're just doing it just purely for the attention though, or just shilling. I mean, it can be both ways too.
Right.
But in the long run, those trolls will end up losing in general. And plus, I've dealt with my trolls. I mean, like there was this one person that trolled me the other day and just talking bad about HA. I was like, you know what? Those trolls, they have nothing better else to do with their time. They should just do their research and facts. And plus, I stand by HA. I follow him and support him every day. I understand he's a really busy guy and he does an amazing job at what he does.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tim, Niko House, everybody.
I agree.
Like I get some on my YouTube channels too, and it's not like I get a lot of views. I get like a really low number of views, and I'm still getting trolls. So it's just kind of funny. It's like you might want to troll someone who's actually popular.
Well, I was just thinking, hey, Ebon, you finally made the big time. You got trolls, man.
It's funny. We have the demilitarize the police sign up. It's actually up on the garage wall right now. But anyway,
I had to cut off the Jill Stein part because it was all beat up.
Oh, were you there in Philly?
Yeah.
Oh, so were we.
I'll be right back. I gotta go get my battery to hook up the battery to it because it's just dingling at me. So I'll be back.
All right.
Okay, take your time, no rush.
So if the Seth Rich thing happens and the DNC fraud lawsuit wins, is what happens? Whose heads roll? Does anyone? I mean, everyone's in power, so everyone can just kind of be safe, or they just fly away and find some place to not be extradited.
I think a lot of it is going to depend on how much we get from the right. Like when you have Newt Gingrich, God, I never thought I'd be saying this, but we kind of need them, Sean Hannity and all these guys to speak up out against it all, and that will help. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I don't know what'll happen if people will get away with stuff. But I mean, that's actually good that those on the right are doing something, right?
Yeah, we really do need common grounds these days. Left or right, it doesn't matter. It's just, that it's the common sense and the logic that we absolutely need. Even we might disagree on certain things and we could debate about it. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's just, the unity really does truly matter, and especially at times like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, murder and total corruption. So.
Well, but strategically, it would actually benefit the Republicans to actually keep the corrupt DNC.
I know. I've thought of that.
Right, because every time they're running against a Democrat, they just say, "Hey, look, the DNC, they lost. They have a fraud lawsuit, and they lost. Seth Rich was murdered by someone within DNC, and the investigations just kind of stopped. As far as after the killer, they haven't found the killer yet. Whatever evidence comes out, so." I don't know. Anyone else?
I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship that they have going on. I mean, one bails out the other one every 8 years. They got to have somebody else to depend on. So, I think that's why they cover for them as much as they do. That's why they don't call them out on the real stuff.
Right. If they stay corrupt, then they know they're going to keep winning because the public doesn't, most of the public isn't falling for it. So, independents and Republicans, I should say.
It's really interesting that from looking outside, I never thought that I would think of it, but I call it a political football, and it's like, okay, so political football sometimes means that. If Plan A doesn't work, then Plan B will work, and it seems like when you're sports analogy is that there's always something that will go when on an action of that. So even if something,
I'm always holding him anyways.
If something were to hold back on one particular instant,
maybe.
That right now it seems like the healthcare seemed to be
thanks.
Medicare for all seems to be the one
was
that
he burped?
Yes.
The most important thing that people can actually rely on across the country. So it seems like
Did you want something?
3:30?
3:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just come to bed.
All right. Yeah, I'll be in bed.
Aru! Hello, Roland.
He's adorable.
Oh, what a cutie.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
All right, keep talking. I'm sorry for the distraction.
It's okay. You have nothing to worry about.
Not at all, man. You just brought a baby into the room. That's the grooviest. I am patiently waiting to be a grandparent someday. So, right now I just got to live with dogs. I can't wait for grandchildren.
You'll be a wonderful grandpa.
Well, now I got to quit smoking because the baby's in the room.
Oh. Sorry, I'm moving around. I hope it's
can't have picking up bad habits.
Okay, so what's the next topic?
Anything, if whatever everyone's got. It seems like Seth Rich is the biggest topic.
Yeah, it is. So I was really disappointed in the Kim.com thing. And then, so I have a tendency, sometimes like on Twitter, I realize people misread. And I was kind of saying, oh, this sucks because the next time something comes up about it, it's going to get ignored because, unfortunately, because what he had to say was not any definitive anything. That I don't know. I just thought that was frustrating because, I just think it's going to make people tune it out the next time. Maybe people that aren't really very informed, they go, oh, that's just that. It unfortunately gives more ammunition to the people saying that it's a conspiracy theory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess.
I understand, but honestly, I'm hoping that the whole DNC fraud lawsuit and the whole thing with Seth Rich, I hope it really does wake people up, because if it really wakes up people, then 2020. I really am optimistic about 2020. I mean, if it is like Tulsi Gabbard or Nina Turner or Bernie, I am pretty optimistic. Because I'm hoping, I am really hoping that, it does, shed a lot of light and actually expose the corruption within the Democratic Party. And I'm hoping that, the independent party rises, because honestly, we do have a large independent voter base. I mean, run Bernie, Tulsi, Nina. I mean, if the Democratic Party is going to fail and crumble, they might as well run on the independent ticket and really defeat Trump. Honestly, if anything, Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard or even Dr. Jill Stein or anyone that has any ethics should run for 2020. And plus, that will really truly stand for something. I do remain optimistic about that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a breakthrough that we need. Sorry, Redneckonomics. What is your name, actually?
My name's Stevie.
Oh, okay. So in West Virginia, I mean, are there many Democrats?
I wouldn't say by the definition of it, the Democrats we have are like Joe Manchin, There's a couple of good ones. I named them earlier, but I mean, no. And plus, it's a Republican majority now, so they're just passing whatever they want.
Well, but I mean, like the population, like where you live, when you hear people talking, it was all Trump, wasn't it? They were all mainly.
Well, in the primary, we went for Bernie,
right?
And but yeah, we voted Trump just for the simple fact that he said he was going to bring jobs back. And I mean, if you ask anybody around here, I mean, we used to be hardcore Democrats, and we've been leaning more Republican because the Democrats have let us down so bad. And that's how Trump happened here.
Yeah. See, I wish this liberal attorney, ex-friend of mine, could hear this, because she has never lived somewhere like West Virginia. She's like from Connecticut, and she lives here in Chapel Hill, and she's like, there's nobody that was for Bernie that went for Trump. And I'm like, I mean, just totally clueless. And I tried to tell her, no, you don't understand. There really were a lot, and it's because of, job loss. And I told her 30 times to read Listen Liberal. Of course, she still hasn't read it. So I was just like, I can't even have a conversation anymore about it, because they just don't believe it. They don't understand it. They don't know how. They never ever drive through there. They fly over it. They have no idea, no clue.
Yeah. I mean, we vote. If you look at the history here, we vote for whoever promises us the jobs. I mean, that's what all comes down to. And Hillary doomed herself when she said we're going to put a lot. I mean, I know, granted, in the rest of that sentence, she kind of backtracked and said that she was going to help us out with jobs. But that one sentence, we're going to put a lot of miners out of jobs. They just played that, and that was it for her.
And that ain't even the miners themselves, but the families, and and the miners that don't have work anymore because automation and everything else. So you say something like that and you pay.
And they can.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just people wanting to, help out. I mean, because if you look at the number of employed miners here, I mean, I think it's something like 3,000 to 6,000, and our population is 1 million, so a little over 1 million. So, I mean, these are people just looking out for other people too. I mean, it's sad.
And I think they could just smell her inauthenticity. I mean, it's just so fake. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about
that elitist attitude, and we don't like that.
Inauthenticity. I mean, it's just so fake. Everything.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to talk about
that elitist attitude, and we don't like that.
Inauthenticity. I mean, it's just so fake. Everything.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to talk about
that elitist attitude, and we don't.
It's the YouTube girl.
It's just so fake. Oh yeah. You guys want to talk about that elitist attitude, and we don't.
We're learning. Okay. I'm gonna try. Get John. Where did he go?
Wait. You're hearing the echo, and if you take the YouTube part of it, and that will take care of the echo part.
Yeah, just mute it.
Hearing the echo,
YouTube part. There you go.
Yay!
Okay, I did the same thing.
Awesome.
Sounds like punk music, man.
Oh wait, she might have muted herself. I hope not.
She did.
Okay.
And then you just open, and then you just go back to the Ring Central and whatever. That's the one that you want open. Or sound in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think.
It's okay. It's okay.
Can you hear us? You muted yourself. It's okay. I did it like 3 times. But you want to unmute. Click that. Down in the left corner. You see the microphone? Just click that again. Down in the left corner? Okay, I think it's working. Just click that again.
I hear something.
Me too.
No, it's okay. YouTube playing?
I hear something.
Do you have YouTube?
Now you need to take the YouTube and mute that.
Yeah, just mute YouTube. Mute on your computer. Do you have YouTube?
Now you need to take the YouTube and mute that.
Why it's on YouTube. We'll get it. We're learning.
Is that it?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well,
Yay!
it's okay.
Yay!
I'm like terrible with technology, so don't worry about it.
Oh, this is a totally new computer for me, so I am just learning how to use it.
Oh, how long ago did you get it?
Oh, about a month. I mostly got it for music production.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm getting into electronic music.
Oh, sweet.
switching over from my old Celtic harp playing. So yeah,
Harp playing, classic. I love that.
I have 4 albums on the internet. So if y'all ever want to hear some peaceful music to unwind to, that's what I do.
Cool.
Wait, what is your name?
Ariel.
Oh, you're Ariel. Oh,
You're Ariel. Holy crap! Cool. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
just put voice to name, and now.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So wait, are you in Atlanta?
I am. Yep. My name on here is Coco Van Bunsen. That's my rabbit's name.
Oh, how sweet.
I should go get her.
I have a bird and I call him Birdie. He's a little zebra finch. He's so adorable. I call him my little itty bitty birdie. Aww. How adorable.
Is that one of those Flemish rabbits?
She's a Dutch. She's a Dutch bunny.
Well, yeah, that's a big one.
Arrow here.
You want this?
Oh.
We used to keep meat rabbits, so that's why when you said the breed and I saw how big it was, yeah.
Okay, so I just noticed it looks like Jeremy. I think you muted yourself. Did you mean to? Yeah, you muted your. Oh wait. There's Vaughn. He's back. Jeremy muted himself.
Who's Coco Van Bunsen?
Right here.
I know that. Oh, okay.
This is her.
Yeah, Vaughn, it's really bad when I'm leading the tech stuff.
It's fine.
That's okay. But the good thing, it's actually better, to actually learn it and better understand it, and you'll definitely get the hang of it.
This is true. Okay, so Jeremy, it looks like he muted himself. And he's talking. I think he's trying to tell me.
Nope. I think he's just listening in.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought he shook his head when you said something. Yeah, see, I think he did.
Sign language?
Yeah, man, I'm cool with it.
Okay, sure.
So what's
Okay, just know we can't hear you. If you're cool with that. Okay. All right.
So what were we talking about? I'd walk away and partake in something that Ebon doesn't want on the screen. So
I'm okay with it. You guys just can't have live. You can't have this after hours if I get a hit. But
well, I mean, you shouldn't. I can hold up my license and the store I bought it from and everything.
Oh, that's right. You have an injury, right? Your neck or cervical spine, right?
Yeah. So I like my smoke. It's actually, I had to choose between it and opiates, and I chose the opiate, or I chose the weed, and so I'm trying it. Yeah, my pain's a little too high for it sometimes, so I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens.
My dad is in 4 years of cancer. He had colon, liver. It was the worst cancer you can imagine. They gave him 6 months to live 4 years ago. And he's still alive. We started with a naturopathic medicine, and then we did a light dose of chemo, and he responded very, very well to it. But he's been through hell, and so have we as a result. And it's funny because, he's a lifelong Republican. He was always one of these guys that's, never believed in government health care. But boy, this whole experience has changed his mind. Now he has seen firsthand what happens to you in the medical system. And it's rough.
And the response I want to say is, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be I hate to lump people all in one thing, but a lot of Republicans, it seems that way. It's like until it happens to them personally.
Exactly.
Like Dick Cheney was not for LGBT rights till his daughter was you know what I mean? It seems like they have to experience it. They have a problem with empathy or something.
Yes. Well, they've been manipulated for a long time. It's a manipulation of what my buddy Utah Phillips calls the blame pattern. They've been taught to believe that it's the poorest who they are among that are keeping everyone down, when in reality it's the other way around.
Right.
So it's I don't even know if it's compassion, because my dad's a sweet guy. Boy, I mean, he would do anything in the world for you. He's one of the kindest people you'd ever meet. But it's just it's a manipulation of the blame pattern. Absolutely, it's what I believe. They got people that, especially from his era. Oh my goodness, grew up in the 40s and the 50s. Convinced them that, the communists were the thing to be afraid of. And that's why they punched the Russia button, I'm telling you, because it's like they know that there are still a lot of these old 40s, 50s generation folks. They hear that and they go, oh no, the Russians, we know them, the commies, the Red Scare, duck and cover. I mean, and it goes back very deep.
Oh,
I mean, even movies.
I didn't grow up during that time, so I have no idea. I can just imagine, there's some real deep unrooting and unlearning and relearning that has to go on there.
Exactly, and it was beat on into them for so long, and now they can just bring it up like Pavlov's dog kind of thing, and you're exactly right. The Red Scare and all of that, senior citizens vote, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah, I remember my grandma used to tell me stories because she grew up during that time, and she'd tell me about how it was her uncle, I think, that would go around talking about the Russians are coming, they're coming. I mean, just this hysteria all the time.
One of my favorite movies ever made is Dr. Strangelove. It's as relevant now as ever. Get it on there and watch it. They get the Russian guy, Comrade Kissoff, Premier Kissoff, and they're yelling at him. There's no fighting in the war room. Telling you, turn that thing on. You won't believe how much it relates to what's happening right now.
In that TV show, we have the Russians. Isn't that pretty popular?
It's called The Americans, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
yeah, but it's about Russian spies.
Yeah. So that's really popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Redneck Economics. Have you ever seen Matewan? The movie Matewan?
I just watched that recently.
Well, that's what my grandpa did. I mean, back in that kind of day, my grandpa was an organizer for the United Mine Work. He was a Red. I mean, for in that time, that's what they'd call him, and so that's the kind of people I came from. So my old man was the exact opposite. He was like exactly like you guys are talking about. You got force-fed Fox. Once that thing came out, man, he had everything in the world was figured out for him, and in all the right colors and everything worked out perfect for him. So,
Yeah, and that's another reason why I try to cover the news here, because if you turn on the radio, if you read the newspaper, if you watch the TV, it's all the same thing. It's all from like this right-wing, like Republican talking point, and nobody actually discusses how terrible, these policies are.
Yeah. Has anybody seen? There's a documentary. I'm trying to look it up right now. So there's a guy, professor at Ithaca College. I think it's Jeff Cohen. He was in this documentary, but it's basically this woman tells a story about her dad and how he was basically brainwashed listening to talk radio on the way to work for like a decade or something.
Oh, that happened to my dad, listening to Neil Bortz and guys like that, 10, 20 years ago. And wow, that kind of stuff. It's amazing how it can really brainwash people.
Oh, I found it. I think it's like, I don't know if this is the title, how Fox News made my dad.
Yep. I was going to ask you if that was the one.
Yeah, that's it. It was really weird to watch. Like, yeah.
The sad thing about that is it's so much easier to play to people's fears than to their better conscience. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they do it. It's easy to do it. It's so easy to do that. You start getting people, oh yeah, it's that other guy that's keeping me down, and you can really punch it. It's a lot harder to lift them out of the gutter and kind of go, you know what? It's not your friend. It's not your neighbor. It's not your brother. It's that guy up in the gilded palace who's screwing all of you over. Let's go get him.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
That's what it's all about. It's all about the division. It's all about keeping the working class fighting amongst each other. Because as long as they're doing that, you're not going to pay attention to the big guy up at the top.
You know what I was thinking about earlier, while the baby was around, is like you were saying, when you're bored, you start thinking. And so I was thinking, all right, the oligarchs. Well, a lot of Americans love capitalism, but the oligarchs aren't really for capitalism, because how much can they spend? They can't spend anything. So they're basically hoarding the money, reinvesting it, and not spending, because capitalism is about spending. And if you're not spending, the money's not circulating, products aren't moving, people aren't working. So anyways, what are people's thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, it's always been kind of like, if you just inject a bunch of, like if the government had they done a real stimulus package where they went over $1 trillion, or even up to even more than that, because you can borrow money at a low rate. That's the thing about it. You pay off a bridge, like you're building a bridge, you're paying off a bridge for 100, 150 years. So why not finance it so that you're paying it off? You pay off a little bit at a time while the interest rates are low. So, and then you inject that capital into the construction industry, into all the industries that surround the construction industry, and that stimulates economies everywhere. And it's been proven that no matter what you do, even if we did like the CCC and a WPA again, and we just hired people off the streets, drive the bus through town, pick up a bunch of people. We used to get, there was a chicken train. The bus would come around, pick us up, and we'd go to the poultry houses, and we'd pull the birds and to send them to Campbell's Soup. We'd pull all the old layers.
Yeah.
And so, and no matter what kind of job you do, whether you're stacking rocks on the side of the road, it's still a job. And people will do it if the pay's right.
See, that's what I don't get. If they're trying to see, that's what they're doing here with mining. They're trying to like do this thing where they make a job. And if you're just going to make any job out of thin air, why don't you make something that's like safe, or make something that's productive, or build a bridge or a road, or make some art or something. I mean, why send people into the mines? But it goes back to our governor is a billionaire coal mine baron, and I asked him once if we could what he thought about the 15 minimum wage, and he said that he didn't know if I should be making $15 an hour. He's a billionaire, and he's telling me he doesn't know if I should make $15 an hour. If that's not BS, I don't know what is.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
I'll be like, if you're not for that, then we'll have a candidate that actually truly stands for something if you really want to keep your position. I'd be like, you know what? Just be like, oh, we'll just vote you out if you don't want to stand for the people that you claim to stand for. Then you know what? Just vote them out. And the more that they hear that and the more annoyed that they get, honestly, they should come to reason. If they don't, then they lose their position, and that will be on them, and they would take down their credibility even more.
Vaughn, I'm listening to everyone. I'm just I do this all the time. I think of a person and I can't remember their name.
That's right.
I want to say he was some bigwig in Amazon, maybe. I follow him on Twitter, so I'm trying to find it. But he basically is a very wealthy man. I don't know if he's a billionaire or what, but he basically talks about how, without people having jobs, they can't spend, and so people like us, talking about himself, aren't going to keep making money because nobody's buying things. So he's basically a proponent for higher pay and all that. I never think of someone's name when I'll find it.
Yep. Okay.
But he's done TED Talks. Does that sound familiar? Ring a bell to anybody? Pretty outspoken.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find it.
Well, West Virginia, I mean, if they could spend 150 years rebuilding and cleaning up West Virginia, you know, and paying people to do it safely, you know, I think there's plenty of things in West Virginia that need done. I mean, and seriously, like serious cleanup of some really toxic crap that they got to get rid of because it'll never go away.
That's
You know?
true everywhere. Look at so many towns. They look like, you know, no empty buildings and all. Okay, so it's Nick Hanauer. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
No.
Entrepreneur, venture capitalist. There's some new book, Gardens of Our Democracy. He's in Seattle.
Yeah.
But I thought he had something to do with Amazon, but I may be wrong. Maybe I just equated that because he's in Seattle. But yeah, it's called read our new book, The Gardens of Democracy. But yeah, he basically talks about how it doesn't work. Low wages may be a cause of low productivity growth rather than a result, as Economics 101 assumes.
What was the name of that?
The book, it says The Gardens of Democracy, but it's Nick Hanauer, H-A-N, if you follow him on Twitter, it's at Nick Hanauer, Hanauer. And he's done TED Talks. But he's one of, you know, how often do you hear that from someone who's a billionaire or whatever it is that he is? You know, they're not usually saying that. Warren Buffett sometimes says that this guy's really a champion for, I think, things that could work better, you know? But yeah, anyway, that's it. Just look him up.
Yeah, I'll check him out.
It's interesting, you know, I run an eBay store, and that's a big source of my income. Because being an artist and musician, you can't expect that to always pick it up for you. And I've really had a tough month. It's been very slow, and it's actually strangely slow. So when that goes on, I really wonder what's going on with the world economy, you know, and what, you know, is going on with people, because one thing leads to another. If I'm not bringing in as much money, I don't spend as much money, and so on and so on and so on, you know, to put back into my business. And so it's kind of interesting to think about it. And I love how these big bosses, these CEOs and these guys on the top, they're always trying to say things. And you'll hear this, and I know that for people that I know that work in offices, and they'll try to say things like, well, money isn't a motivator for people. And they treat people like kids. They come in and they do these presentations and these talks, and they hand out tennis balls printed with company logos and things like that. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, money is what's going to motivate your people, not handing out
if they just
toys.
Tennis balls and chuck it at their heads.
Yes, Ariel, I totally agree with that. It's like they use money as a motivator for like these rich people, but then for poor people, of course, that doesn't. I mean, we don't want money. What do we need with money for?
Yeah, we got tennis balls that light up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then that changes everything.
I wouldn't be motivated by a tennis ball. I'd be like, what am I going to use this for? What, you play tennis?
Well, that's the
I'm like,
idea.
I appreciate it, but no thank you.
It's, I guess, just keep us entertained is pretty much it, you know?
Well, it's like,
it's the dumbing down. They want to keep people in kindergarten forever.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the things that I've observed is that whenever most corporations, they tend to say about competitive wages, and I just want to say, I don't want competitive wages. I want lucrative wages. There's a difference between competitive wages and lucrative wages. That the lucrative wages means that you can come in any sources, and that's what I want. What the CEOs got, they got lucrative wages.
of course. But the
That
thing
sounds good to me.
in my parents' time, a CEO would make maybe 30 or 40% of what the employees would make, and now it's upwards of 400%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just the truth. And I said this on one of my calls into Tim, is that, you know, I think a big reason that people haven't absolutely revolted and just taken up arms is it's fear, but it's also, yeah, they're not hungry enough. Pay attention and read your history of the French Revolution. It's very similar things. It's scary how history repeats itself, and the reason we don't learn, we're not really paying attention to the past. You know, but in the lead up to the French Revolution, the rich paid no taxes whatsoever. The aristocracy, the monarchs, the courtiers, you know, Versailles, nobody paid any taxes. So all of the burden was always on the people. And that went on for quite a while. They had financiers, you know, and financial advisors would come to the king and they'd say, hey, you know, the people are kind of in trouble. Maybe you should start taxing the rich. Well, what would happen is the rich and the clergy would all gang up on the people because they had three factions. They had the clergy, the aristocracy, and then the common man, who made up the bulk of the populace. Yet it was the clergy and the aristocracy that made, you know, the decisions for everybody. So they had three different financial advisors, and all of them said the same thing. And every time Louis would just, you know, cower and give in because he said, well, I don't want to make these guys mad. Well, it turned out it didn't work. You know, they kept trying to see the king, trying to see him. And before you know it, you had the people rising up because they were starving. And people in this country aren't starving yet. We keep people just fed enough, just comfortable enough, and we haven't got to the point where we're willing to, you know, get rid of that modicum of comfort. That's what I think, you know. And I will say the same thing for myself. I don't feel like giving up my little bit of comfort. I don't want to go get killed or jailed or mauled or trampled. But that's where we are. And we really are in a situation where the government's getting ready for this. I don't know if you guys have seen. I mean, this is nothing new. This has been going on for years. The concentration like camps that are being built out in the Midwest and in the deserts and places like that, they're getting ready for it. I guarantee it. They know they're pushing the limits. They know. They're not stupid. They're evil, but they're not stupid. They know that when you push people this close and this close and this close, there's going to be some flap, which there already has been. And you see how they're trying to manipulate that. Every time some group starts an uprising, oh, look at those nuts down there. Look at those crazy people down there.
I just recently posted a George Carlin little segment from his last stand-up where he's talking about, yeah, it's basically, I think it was the Great American Okey Doke or something like that. And he said, you know, as long as everyone's got a cell phone that'll cook you pancakes and rub your balls for you. So funny. But it's so true. And I think it's, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Ariel, but I do think, I mean, there are plenty of places like Flint where they don't have clean water, where it really is that bad. Yeah. It really is that bad in a lot of places. And I think what you have, though, is, you know, like that book, The Big Sort, talks about is everybody is separated. So, like, I made this argument with some people here, you know, like, well, yeah, it is that bad other places. But most people in the what Thomas Frank calls the liberal class, they kind of got hit with it a little bit in 2008, that crash, because some of their 401ks went away. Right. That didn't make them not be able to feed their family that week. Exactly. But they I heard a lot of bitching and moaning about that. And at that point, you know, we hadn't saved a penny for retirement because we were still paying off our student loans. So it's kind of, I'm just listening like, yeah, okay. You know, but so that segment of the population, the liberal class, has not been hit. And if they ever really start suffering, then yeah, it would all fall down. But yeah, they're definitely pushing the limits.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, you know, you think about in the French Revolution, everyone was more connected. And it's funny enough, no technology back then, of course. So people talked. That was the way you got your news. You went on the street and you talked to everybody and found out, well, what's going on? What did he do today? Oh boy. Now, in a lot of ways, yeah, we are so divided. Can you imagine if we were connected right next to the people in Flint? Imagine how different that would be. There is a lot of division. And I think that's the flip. Is there ever going to be that key point where all Americans really put aside their differences and say, you know what, we're all getting mashed on by the same guys, and you got the bad water, we got the nuclear reactor in our backyard, everybody's got cancer in our neighborhood. These are things that happen all over the country. When is everybody going to kind of come together and say, we're all in the same boat? It's a huge thing. It's massive. And it makes me really wonder if people are ever going to wake up out of the torpor. We got a few right here that are woken up. Is it going to happen?
That's why I always
this level in our life? While I'm still alive, it would be so fabulous, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always shout out Flint whenever I talk about these water issues, because, they've had to deal with it continuously for how many years now? Years. These people, when we had that MCHM spill here, we went through it for a couple weeks. Some of us, a little bit longer.
Wow.
But, that was hell.
Ooh.
And you know what? They still use that chemical here. And there's still spills. They just had a spill back in February, and they have not done any testing on it. They're not tracking it whatsoever. And that's why I always speak out about Flint, because I can't even imagine having to go through that hell for 3 years or how long have they been going through it now?
Probably
I just feel so bad
longer
for
than anybody even really knows. And the damage, the thing about what it does to children, once it damages their brain, it's irreparable. They'll never be okay again from that.
But that just shows right there, and it's sickening. But they don't think those people matter. Those pure, largely black kids in that town, they're not going to succeed anyway. they just
that's the idea. Yeah,
that's what they look at them like, and it's horrible.
It is.
It was interesting that both H.A. and Tim Black discussing on No Sellout about both Obama and as well as I just lost it, the Attorney General Lynch. They had a chance to do something about it, and they're both in the black community. Why didn't they say anything about that situation that to have the governor removed or something to that effect? And it's kind of like, why did we not hear about that part of it? That seems to be so strange when something like that. It just made no sense. And I just, it's just by listening to that, you just want to have the governor, hey, why don't you just drink this water? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
And it's kind of like, you think it's good enough? Let's do a test. Let's see you do it. Oh, okay. Well, no, I don't want to do it. Well, all right. But, that's the only way you're going to find out is to actually go there and see the stuff that you are doing. So.
Yeah, but when they were protesting,
Russian going on, where you get this sense that these days, if there's a protest or get back to the labor movements of the early 1900s, and people were very able to affect the conditions of their labor through direct action. Now when we have, they could just say, we're not going to work, and they'd keep them stalled, and these people would go hungry and cold and usually have to send their kids back home till they got through this fight. But it worked because they didn't back down. But now it seems that not only do you not have the people coming together often enough for a protest or a boycott or, a walkout like that, and you see this kind of stuff happening, but they've got it so slick. There's such a great machine of repression that they can just come and they'll round everyone up and they'll throw them in the darn paddy wagon and haul them off.
So
If they've gotten too good at repressing it, it's a terrifying thing.
in Flint, they had, I think, I hate to name the name, but it was Jordan Sheridan, because he had been doing a lot of that coverage. I know. But I'm big. I care about the lead issue, so that was one of my reasons why I followed him, because he was giving that. That was one of my articles I wrote a long time ago, was on lead poisoning. But with regards to paint, not water. But yeah, he maybe, I think it was him. But anyway, they were filming there and showing how the police were just rounding up protesters. They're protesting in the water. So my husband came home today and said, I think he's listening to another Chris Hedges audiobook in the car on his commute. I think it's The Wages of Rebellion, but I'm not sure.
It's a good one.
Yeah, but he was saying that Chris Hedges basically makes the point for every revolution is when the police become on the side of the people.
There you go.
Like when they
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, just get Kendall to trot out that Pepsi. I'm sure we're close.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'll tell you what, I got to split, man. I got to go lie back down for a little while, and I'll still be chatting and watching you guys. Good night, man.
Thanks. Have a wonderful evening, Broken Carpenter. You have yourself a wonderful weekend as well.
Thanks.
I understand the pain thing. You got to lie down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a back thing too. I'm okay right now, but you just can't sit up for that long.
Oh, there it is.
Anyway,
we know where we stand when we live in a country that does not guarantee health care for all people. That really is, for me, a major base issue. It will always be, until or unless we finally start taking care of our people. And it gets back to the thing about the water. It gets back to all of it, because if you are already in a country that is not going, hardworking, decent people, and they're not going to make sure that you don't go bankrupt over a medical bill because you had the nerve to get sick or injured, well, of course if they don't care about that, why are they going to care about your water? Why are they going to care about anyone? The idea is, just shut up, go ahead and die. We don't care. And it's a demoralizing thing that I think it blankets the whole, just the morale of a country, of a populace, because there's no way that people don't realize that. It's that subtle, or maybe not so subtle message that you do not really matter to us. And that if you change that, imagine if we all woke up tomorrow and suddenly we were all able to go to the doctor and not worry about that bill coming in the mail. We could,
that would be a relief.
Even take it further. What if, we woke up and we could go get that massage therapy or that physical therapy or the chiropractor for free or all these things? These are the things we have to have. Nobody would need to go to the doctor hardly ever if we took care of the bodies. You go up to Sweden, these countries where they've really got excellent medical, and people live here longer. They live, they're less stressed, because, and Bernie talked about this, and actually he talked about it in West Virginia. He did a great talk where he said, well, let's talk about the stress of not having health care.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was an amazing talk, and it nails it. You take that away from people, you take that stress, that burden, that fear. Guess what? People start going and they start building their own businesses. They don't work for the darn man anymore, for the corporate crap jobs that's crushing their soul, because they go, you know what? Now I don't have to worry about the benefits. Now I can actually go follow that dream that they kept telling me that I should go follow as a child, right? They tell you to go follow that dream as a child, but once you get bigger, they say, no, you got to get in the machine, or you're not going to have health care, you're not going to have retirement, you're not going to have anything. So it's a machine, and people got to get out of that. They realize, we would have more musicians, more inventors, more people doing amazing things if they weren't so worried about the darn health care.
That is so true, Ariel. Especially here, they parents here feel like they have to tell their children to be reasonable. I mean, I don't know how many parents I've heard tell their kids, well, I know you want to be an artist or you want to be an actor or you want to, whatever it is, but, have a backup plan. Always, be practical. You have to be pragmatic.
Yep.
And that's why when Hillary Clinton said that pragmatic, I was like, oh, hell no. No pragmatism. No, we need radicals right now.
That's my whole life. I mean, I've always been an artist, a musician. I teach astrology. I never wanted to go get in the box, and I had awesome parents that basically told me, "Hey, we don't care if you become a rich asshole. That's fine with us. We don't want you to be that. Do what you love, live a real life." But there's so much struggle to that because they don't reward you for it, unless you really grab the brass ring and you become the top 40 sellout, slut. I maybe danced in a belly shirt or something. Maybe then I'd be a famous person. But I wanted to wear a nice long dress and play a harp and sing Celtic music. So that's harder to get on the MTV with.
MTV is just filled with reality TV shows and just a bunch of overrated pop stars.
Triggered!
Triggered! I'm so triggered!
Think about it. I mean, of course, it's partly for attention, but like I have a 12-year-old daughter, and a lot of her friends are now. One of them wanted to be a surgeon. Now I want to be an actress.
Wow.
But I think and you could say the same. In the Black community, I think a lot they see their only way is through sports or something. Like where are our inventors, surgeons, or all these other things? Because they see at a really young age, and maybe partly they want the stardom but that you're really going to suffer, have a shit life unless you hit it one of those areas. And I just so broken. Like, why don't we value, like, I don't know, other things?
Well, what it is the most important thing that you have when you talk about creativity with artists on it. It's called critical thinking. Critical thinking is what is missing right now. And if you dwell on the critical thinking, that's what kind of gets to the over of that. That's what Tim Black does. That's what H.A. Goodman does. The people that follow it, they have critical thinking, and you can hear it in their voices, and they're very passionate about it. And as each one of us, as each American that we are, if we take responsibility with our critical thinking, we're able to, at that point, be able to kind of change the attitude, if you will. But I think that's part of it, is the critical thinking aspect of it, and so that's what I'm thinking. That
I 100. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all I wanted to say.
I 100%.
People don't question stuff anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, people just don't question stuff anymore. I mean, like my grandma's, one of the first things I remember she taught me was don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. And she told me about, how, images can be manipulated and words, anybody can say whatever it is that they want, but, don't trust it until you check it out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's critical that, and that's why I absolutely love H.A. Goodman and all that. He researches the stuff, and then it is our job to author research to verify that what we're saying is true. And when we do all that in there, I mean, we all get this. It's just that we need to spend more time with the critical thinking, because most of the time, let's face it, with the technology that we have, we tend to be distracted with our gadgetry, our all this.
Yes.
And part of it is that we must learn to, at the same time, is to value the things that are dear to us at the same time. It's called balance, and I
But don't we need to upgrade our phone every 9 months?
well, whatever.
One of my favorite things to say is what's going to happen when the screen stops glowing. Nobody's going to know how to do anything.
Yeah. And so here I'm talking because I'm the one that don't have a picture on it in front, so of that. But I think it seems like the message and hopefully my voice will come over and you can kind of hear exactly, of that. I will eventually will have to get myself a camera so you can actually see me, of course. But it's interesting that we're doomed to repeat history of that, and I think it's amazing back in the 1908 when Theodore Roosevelt had a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. We talk about Bernie Sanders. Some of the stuff that Theodore Roosevelt had to deal with was basically the same. He was the progressive at that time, and that was a very good word of progressive of that. Yes, he was the GOP, but the key word was progressive. And so it's just something to think about to kind of grow within in order to kind of make it effective for other things. Or it's just an idea.
Talking to our friends on the group. I like that. I have a lazy eye, remember? Huh? You're what? Remember I have a lazy eye? So that's why it is.
She's welcome to join in on our conversation, Eric.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Oh,
Sorry. It's okay.
No, it's fine.
It's a family show.
It is.
It's still in me.
Ebon, I gotta say, I love seeing your little mini Bon there. It's too cute.
Oh, thanks.
Being really good too.
Yeah, he's pretty quiet. He's good.
What?
He likes to eat and sleep. Quite different than their firstborn.
Yeah, they're friends with
Yeah.
And everyone could talk to each other?
He's a Gemini, so
using Twitter, but
quiet Gemini. Wow, that's a.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see you later.
All right, love you, Mom. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I live. Me and my mom, we live together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. My dad divorced my mom, and pretty much he abandoned our family, which I'm still trying to move on from. But
my dad when he was young, yes, same thing happened to him.
Yeah, but it happened to me when we were struggling at our most, and he just he left us for another. And he left my mom for an ex-girlfriend and cheated on her and completely divorced her without no alimony or anything like that. I mean, honestly, I haven't talked to him since 2015. He tried to get into a fight with my brother Robbie. Then he hung up on me after I said I love you, and it really did hurt me. But I had to last year it was my first time in therapy, and I did recently graduate from therapy a couple days. On Wednesday I actually graduated therapy, so I'm truly working on myself. That's why I have so much time to myself. So I was really working on myself and doing a bunch of other stuff, helping out.
Well, I believe in karma, so your dad.
Oh yeah, he's getting karma very, very bad from what I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
that's
that's
the same thing that happened with my stepdad. I mean, that's the closest thing I ever knew to a dad, and he got deployed, and he just never came back. He ended up moving out with some woman, I think in Nevada or somewhere. But yeah, I know that I know that feeling, and it's rough, and you gotta take that time to work on yourself and get through it.
But I think when the country as a whole is suffering so much economically, all of those things escalate even more. I mean, living with someone is hard, but when you add in major illness and you can't pay for it, you've got medical bills or job loss and all that, it escalates all that, I think, obviously. And then it just goes on and on and on because then kids grow up in that, and yeah. So they're
Oh yeah. Yeah, the socioeconomic factors play a huge role in it. I mean, because a lot of people they have outlets like rich people have outlets like well, I'm going to take my boat out, or I'm going to take a vacation. And when you're poor, I mean, your options are very few. So a lot of people end up having affairs and things like that. Just as an outlet.
Yeah, it's true.
I made the joke a long time ago when I was a poor 20-year-old waitress. Something about, vacation in a can. I'd have beer because then that's why more people that are suffering economically turn to things like that because, everybody's got to have a break,
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my mom is part American Indian, and so I've always had a real connection with Native people, and I had some really good friends out on a reservation in New Mexico that I would go hang out with them sometimes, and I mean that's the biggest thing that's really beats Native people down is, because after they got shoved onto reservations, a big reason that a lot of them have type 2 diabetes and they're born with diabetes often is because they were stuck on government rations, which was mostly white flour, white bread. So, that just converts to sugar. So, almost everyone I know on a reservation has diabetes because of the poor diet from generations before them. And also, of course, there's a lot of alcoholism, and it leads to depression. A typical Native American man might be able to make between $6,000 and $9,000 a year if you're really lucky. And there's a very high suicide rate. And I mean, Leonard Peltier, he called prisons the fastest growing Indian reservations in the country. So, there's a huge connection between, depression, marital breakups, chaos in a family. It's a economic war waged on people, and like I think Tim and a couple of people tonight that called in both said, there's a breakup of families, and again, it's very callous. It's a huge disregard for that, the stress that brings to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I know that just here, what relationships haven't been ruined through, like the stress of poverty, infidelity, all this stuff. I mean, and then you've got the drugs that come in, and you've got courts ripping families apart. Grandparents are trying to raise grandkids, and they're on pensions, and it's just terrible. It's a terrible mess. Our families, but that's all planned. It's all planned. If you disrupt somebody's family early on, when somebody's growing up, then you have you can create a damaged human being that you can, manipulate emotionally, and that's what the media wants. That's what these corporations want, and our government. It's all one big plan.
Yeah. Well, that's because healthy, intellectual, educated people are hard to control. And I'm not necessarily someone that believes in a conspiracy theory, but I believe that there's opportunism and people that are unscrupulous taking opportunities. They see the little opportunity and they grab it. They see it. And so that's what it is. It's not necessarily that they said, oh yeah, we're just going to deny them health care. We're going to make sure they don't make very much money, and that'll give us a nice controllable group of, sheep. But that is what has happened. Slowly but surely, that's what has happened. When people are sick, when they're tired, when they're oppressed, and when they're uneducated largely, because of course we won't let anybody that doesn't make a ton of money go to college. You just can't have that. You've got a really good controllable populace that will believe the media, they'll believe what they're told. And we're still, like I said, go back to that thing about the 40s and the 50s. We're still living down that leave it to Beaver, golly gosh, gee, the government wouldn't really do anything to hurt us, would they? And there's still a lot of people that have that in their, Americans sort of have that in their background for some reason. And that's a big thing that has to be lived down. And I think that, people are waking up more and more and more and more. And even the older people are doing it too, because as they're getting older, they're seeing the complete abandonment, of them by their country. So it's hopefully, it's just, I wish it would come around sooner. than
You
it is.
guys, so everyone's spread out different places. I'm wondering, like, if you see more, like, you're in West Virginia, so you see, I mean, you're forced to be awake when you're suffering. You know, you're forced to sort of see it. I don't see many people awake where I live right now or comfortable.
Heck, people aren't awake even in my town, Somerville, which is very liberal. I mean, we
It's
have a lot of.
liberal. So is Chapel Hill, but it's well-to-do, right? Boston is well-to-do. Well, not
Generally.
all of it, but right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of students here, so it's kind of a mix. But even the people who live around here, they're pretty liberal. I mean, just Massachusetts itself, I think 99% of everyone that's in politics is pretty much a Democrat. I think the only time we get a Republican is when it's the governor, and that's
Right.
probably about it.
Do you dare say anything to like people you know there?
Oh,
Or
I do. Even on Facebook, people think I'm crazy, or they hate me, or they think I'm angry or triggered all the time.
Triggered. Oh, I'm so triggered.
But now I'm taking the
You're killing me
approach.
with that, Eric.
Oh, I love doing that.
It's hilarious. You have no idea how much that made me laugh.
Oh, I'm so triggered.
we went to this neighborhood party we actually just moved into the neighborhood we're in now last August. So we hadn't really met everyone, and we went to this little bonfire party, and a lot of these people were a little bit younger than we are. I would say late 30s, couple early 40s. But I was kind of just listening, and I didn't really want to say a lot. One of the women said, "Oh, you have the Jill Stein bumper stickers on your car," and I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay, so they've noticed it, and they bring it up, and I just kind of sat there and listened, and they, the usual, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm kind of a journalist, and they ask me what I do, and I was just really cautious because I thought, oh, and the one that recognized or noticed my Jill Stein stickers, she wanted to follow me on Twitter, and I just thought, oh boy. Next time we're out for a walk, they're going to be like, because I mean, the mentality here is that I must be some Alex Jones-ish person because they don't. This is not Bernie land. Asheville is Bernie land. Here,
Right.
I mean, there was support for Bernie, but it's also a lot of students, UNC. But the grown-ups here, I mean, they're all pretty much Hillary supporters. I mean. So yeah, I have to kind of. I just don't want to I have a 12-year-old who wants to play with the neighbor's kids, so I don't want to pick a fight with people.
What's funny is 3 days ago I was driving with one of my kids and a car cut me off, and I was pissed. But what pissed me off more was it had a Hillary Kane sticker. And I was like, oh
man.
It makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
I like the call. Oh, sorry.
No. I'm talking so much. I almost feel like they're the way I used to view the Mitt Romney Republican. Like, pull your head out of your ass. It's almost like, I don't know. It's so similar,
And I love it when people ask you what you do for a living. What they really are asking you is, how do you destroy the planet, and how good are you at it? How good do you destroy it? You want to really scare somebody, ask them, what do you love? Not what do you do, what do you love? Do you do what you love? That's what it's about, Because they don't want to know anything about you. That's the worst question on earth. What is it that you do? How do you destroy the planet? That's really what they should be asking you. There's a fellow named Guy McPherson that is a scientist. He used to teach at the University of Tucson. And I highly recommend him. His videos are incredible. He moved to Belize because he wanted to get off the grid and completely change the way that his life was going. But when he was totally into the, university and doing the whole thing. And when he started studying about what was happening with the atmosphere and the environment, he said enlightenment is not for the faint of heart. He said it freaked him out, it woke him up, it shook him up so much, and he lost a lot of friendships, he quit his job. He kind of had a breakdown from it. And he's a very interesting guy. And he always tells people, he said, because he really believes very deeply that we don't have a whole lot of time left at current rates of consumption. Our current lifestyle that we've become used to is really, it's closing in 10 to 15 years if we're lucky. He really believes it, and the science is there to back it up. But long story short, he said that, you know, people always want a solution, and they think that because we have technology that means we have energy. That's a big you know, misinformation, or a big false idea that people have, is that because we have technology that means we have energy. It's two totally different things, you know. And technology doesn't equal energy to power all these things that we've gotten used to. And he said, so, you know, the biggest thing that he tells people, he said, love what you do what you love, live a life of excellence, because we do not know how long we have. We never know how long we have. So, you know, it's again another you know, signal or message to say, you know, if you're miserable doing what you do, you know, change it, even if it's a risk, you know, because you don't know how long you have. And living a life of greatness, you know, is even if, you know, say we have longer than we think, then great. You know, you've actually been doing what you believe in, what you're passionate about, what brings you joy, what brings joy to others. You know, that's what it's about, is living a life of excellence right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's two schools of people here. There's the religious, and then there's the right now. And the right now people here live their life for today. You know,
Correct.
they do what they want. And it's kind of like, you know, and that's why the drugs are so prevalent here, is because, you know, I mean, like, if you go underground into a mine, you don't know if you're going to see tomorrow. You know, I've heard stories where these miners will eat their dessert first because they don't know halfway through their meal if they're going to perish.
Right.
And so, like, you know, you live every single moment like it's your last.
Right.
And I'm kind of doing that through, you know, like YouTube. You know, I'm just kind of speaking my mind and getting it out there. But I wish more people would, like, choose that outlet, because so many people here go the religious route, and while that's good because it gives them, you know, they connect with their community, and they also do a lot of like volunteer work, helping out the poor. But it also keeps them asleep, you know, so they can't fight politically and actually make the changes they need to make.
In my studies of religion, I've noticed that almost all of them are about the poor, and it's always about never the if you're evil, or the path to evil is greed, is just thinking about physical gain. And so it hits a lot of poor people, because this life, they're not going to become rich overnight. Not many can get out of poverty, and so they're looking for the next life that's going to be better for them. So religion always speaks to a lot of poor people, because there's no hope for them in the current life, because they're born poor, or they can't get out of it. And so I think it just kind of reaches a lot more. Religion is hits a lot more people because a lot more people are poor. That's just my thoughts.
I mean, you're exactly right. Exactly right. Because, like, I know. I mean, and then you see, like, you know, during, you know, well, those emails that came out where they said, well, we'll hit Bernie, you know, with he's an atheist and he won't win in West Virginia. And then, like, I'm an atheist in West Virginia. So it's just like, wait a second. Like, am I, like, an outsider in my own state? You know, I mean, they'd be surprised at how many atheists or agnostic that there are here, you know? Because, you know, people just, I mean, like I said, it's for today.
It's like, It's like with religion, it is a very, very easy target in politics. That's why there's always the separation of church and state. That should always be separated, no matter what. That, you know, the religion and politics, it just makes it, you know, more manipulative power. And you know what? It just feels like, you know, religion is really used in the wrong way.
Yes.
It's just, you know, it should be used for love, kindness, compassion with all religions. I mean, even including the people who don't believe. I mean, everyone has certain ideals, but, you know, common grounds really, really do truly matter, and especially in these times.
Yeah, and another, sorry about the whole religion thing, but it also gets to what does God need with all the money? Why do you need a tithe, or whatever you call it? And then where does all that money go? It goes to pretty much the people that are at the top of the religion, and you'll see them with millions, if not billions, of dollars. I mean, you got the Pope; he's got gold everywhere. He's got huge gems, and people like, who is that? Creflo Dollar, what's his name? He wants his own private jet. I mean, come on, it's
Well, this is why during the French Revolution, one of the biggest things that they got rid of was the clergy. They disbanded all of that. That was part of it. The free press being brought into, because the press had been suppressed. You know, they had really been kept down. So free press and getting rid of religion was the big thing. The irony is, you know, I mean, Jesus was all about overturning organized religion. That's why they were mad at him. He came along and he told people, you know, all these the Pharisees and the priests are telling you to take your money that you should be using for your family to take care of your needs, and they're telling you to give it to the temple. And they're telling you if you don't do that, then you're in trouble with God and with, you know. He said that anybody that tells you that is not thinking about you or your welfare, your well-being. So it's really funny how somehow the Christian religion, you know, the teachings of Jesus, have gotten turned into, you know, I mean, most of what Jesus talks about is giving to the poor, helping the poor, looking after the less fortunate, having compassion and kindness, and not judging people, even if they're different from you. But somehow we've turned it into gays and abortions and all this stuff that Jesus never talked about, instead of helping the actual poor. You know, if we were truly a Christian nation, we wouldn't have a single darn person on the street, because somebody would be taking them in. Somebody would be coming to help them. Somebody would be standing up and getting upset when they saw that. If you see a homeless person, instead of just walking by and, you know, having a distasteful look on your face, they would be outraged and they'd say, how can we let this happen? Who's going to help this person?
That is so true. I know here that they were trying to, back around Christmas, they were trying to get, there's a church here that was trying to get refugees brought in here. And so many people were against it because they said, oh, they're going to take our jobs that we need. And and that's another thing that they do, is like they try to use this, you know, weaponize the poverty. And it's just so sad. I'm like, this is Christmas. You know, when they couldn't find any, you know, lodging at the inn and they had to go to the barn. I'm like, do you not even recognize your own religion? Why don't you practice your own religion, you know? It just made me feel so sad, because these people, they're so
hypocrites.
They're in such a position that they have to fight for something that they would throw out their own religion. It's just
hypocrisy.
sad.
You know what? I had this sort of realization. I've had a hard time even stomaching NPR, because they had like
I agree.
that was just more head up your ass, like, just, it was awful. I couldn't, and so I started really seeing the bias on NPR too. Like, they actually lied about Jill Stein, and anyway, so, but not too long ago I was listening, because there was nothing else, on a long drive for a little bit, and there was this story that I just caught part of it, but they're basically talking about a transgender Syrian refugee that needed, you know, that basically we should help. But I'm listening to this and I'm like, you know, what does a poor white veteran out in the middle of Kansas that, you know, fought for the country, can't get health care, is living at, you know, who, I don't know, the guy that called earlier to Tim's show, I think, did he say? Maybe he was just, who was homeless. I'm not sure if he was a veteran, but like, what do they think when they hear that on NPR? Like, okay, that's sure. I think we should help that Syrian transgender refugee, but I think that giving all that attention to that must just piss off a bunch of people that voted for Trump, that say, what about us?
Right.
And so I think that's another thing that I see that the liberals are not getting. Like, that when you're out, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, I doubt it will, but when you're out marching in your pussy hats and you don't have any idea what it's like to not be able to buy groceries that week,
Right.
You're just people are the people that I think people should watch. Tommy Lehrin, who I don't
Tommy
like.
Loren.
That yeah, but if you want to understand, okay, a lot of people listen to her. Why? Like, find out why. What is it about? Like, so when you're spewing your stuff and let's help transgender people, but you don't give a shit about all the people that have lost jobs and poor white America, they're people too. I think it makes them then become even more anti-gay or even more anti whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Because they're hearing that side championing for those people and basically scoffing at and looking down at probably the rest of the country. That's the poor white people that are having higher rates of suicide now and all that. So I think it really actually, not only does it ignore those people, it makes all of it worse. Because if you think about someone hearing that,
I think it's an odd sort of balance, and it's a very, very interesting points that you're making here, because there's that part of you that, yes, it's like you feel compassion for minorities or feel passion for transgendered people or people that have been traditionally repressed and treated terribly. So there is that real thing that does need to be done, but then at the same time, a lot of other people who don't have one of the more trendy beefs, with the public, are kind of getting shoved to the side. And it's sort of like, again, I got to get back to healthcare, because if we granted everybody, that would be equality right there. Boom.
See, I hear a lot of
something that could be done that could kind of say, look, we're looking out for everybody, no matter who.
See, I hear a lot of this, the pussy hat wearing. Sorry, lots of middle-aged white women, in my demographic. They're out there marching for, of course, Hillary lost because she's a woman. But they're out there marching for minority rights and all this, yet they live here where it is so segregated.
Right.
They don't, I went to pick up some shoes my husband needed repaired, and it's this old shop that I'm surprised is still there because I know the rents keep going up. This older black man, and I don't know why, he just starts talking politics to me. I must have it stamped on my forehead.
Putting out the vibe.
Putting out the vibe, yeah. And he's like, Chapel Hill is so liberal. They sure don't want me as their neighbor. And I just said, you're right.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but it's so true. So it's like they want to say I'm for this and that, but it's in action. It's
right.
It's just more identity politics. I am for this, but yet I don't really want the black family to move in.
What Chris Hedges said is that Democrats like to talk about the poor, but they don't like the smell of the poor.
Mm-hmm. And Tim said that, I think, tonight, like where the actual policy.
That's what it is, And so, yeah, all these silly women, they're home knitting their pussy hats, and I'm so mad, I'm going to make this thing and wear it, and it'll be a statement.
We're triggered.
Triggered with the hat.
That triggers me like big time.
So they do that, and I remember Tim made that comment about where was the anger for Flint? Where was the upset for that? Was anybody home knitting a angry water hat? Nobody's doing that.
I brought that up. I get crickets in response. Cricket. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder?
That's why I talk about like Anna, like she's talking about Anna Kasperi, and she's saying like women that voted for Trump are stupid. And it's just like, well, I don't have to worry about Trump coming over here and grabbing me by the pussy. It's like I got to worry about, am I going to have a job tomorrow?
Grandma the clam. I got that from South Park when they made fun of Mr. Garrison, and because here's one thing, they didn't want to use Donald Trump, but they kind of had a Donald Trump-esque character, but without using Donald Trump. But that's why he said clam, so. But it was it is really funny, but it's funny how they directly make fun of him but not using his name, but using an original character. That's why everyone that makes fun of Donald Trump, it's like ridiculous. The only thing I actually find funny is South Park, and when they use that original character for to replace Donald Trump, but with an actual South Park character, did make it funny though for me. But it's funny how they called Hillary Clinton the turd sandwich though.
Well, here's the kick to me. People that Hillary, this whole thing remote with Cornell West this week, that still got me in a bunch about Bill Maher. They still will not just admit it. Here's the fact. Hillary was such a bad candidate because people didn't trust her. They didn't like her record. She was an establishment politician. Trump and Hillary were the most hated candidates ever in history. But they hated her even more because she was establishment. They wanted anything but an establishment politician. So they picked the big orange mattress man with a drought in his neck. I mean, that's how much they hated her. That was, the people saying she's such a poor candidate that we're going to pick this guy. And they still can't say, oh yeah, it was our bad. And we shouldn't have, and of course you had a demographic that was very angry about the cheating of Bernie. I mean, at that point, I lost it. I was like, forget it. I'm done. Totally done.
About Bill Maher, I'm trying to get greasy gray mullet trendy.
But like with my take on Bill Maher, he looked so appalled and triggered.
Yes.
But but me, honestly, he lost keeping it real. He just, he's a fake phony, establishment comedian. I don't like establishment comedians. I mean, the Hollywood Democrat neoliberals, they ruined entertainment for me though.
Yeah.
That's my really point. That's my really point. Really good point. Plus, and plus same thing with Hollywood Democrats. That's why I call them Hollywood Democrats. It's a funny name, but they're the ones that really, really did truly lost touch. I mean, someone like Susan Sarandon. I love Susan Sarandon. She stood for something. And plus, they had the nerve to call, there was this one article back in October that called Susan Sarandon a privileged idiot. She isn't a privileged idiot. The ones that voted for Hillary Clinton, they're the ones that lost touch. Those are the ones I call privileged idiots. I mean, honestly, they buy into the narrative. Which is true. I mean, even with someone like George Clooney, of all people, supporting Hillary Clinton, knowing, Hillary Clinton was responsible for Libya and Syria and never said anything to Obama, which, it really, really does, irk me. But I know the guy stood for, certain things, which I do appreciate, but, he and he's talking about, oh, we need to, be in touch with, the American people. But why is he, with his rich parties and, supporting Hillary Clinton? I mean, that doesn't make any sense with at all. And plus, the odd thing, Amal Clooney, if you really look up Amal Clooney on Wikipedia, and you'll find a very, very big surprise right there, which, it really does surprise me. It's like, someone as big and famous as George Clooney would have known about Julian Assange. That's a bombshell right there. It
blows my mind.
Well, Susan Sarandon, I'm sorry, but that woman was out. Okay, it was like 105 in Philly. And she was out there marching with everybody with a hole in her hat. So I don't want to hear that. Anyone that says that about her, I'm sorry, but she's real and she's awesome, and I think so few of them.
Just because somebody is famous doesn't completely negate their intelligence. I mean, that's the thing. You hear that a lot, and a lot of people do have that sentiment that if you're in entertainment, then you should just keep your mouth shut and not say anything. But some people are smart. Some people really have it going on. But the George Clooney thing definitely disappointed me. I mean, you would think of him as being a little bit more aware, a little bit more astute. And then nothing says working class like a $200,000 plate dinner, does it, guys?
Oh, good point. And plus, they're funding their entertainment. I mean, just why not boycott Hollywood altogether? I mean, really, really do give the message to the American people. I mean, it would actually work. I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm supportive of entertainment of any kind, including independent or established, because I love playing Nintendo, and I still have my beefs with Nintendo, and plus I still support it though in certain ways. I mean, it depends what actually really does deserve the money. I mean, Hollywood, if they're not going to care for the American people, knowing they entertain, but they should care for the American people.
We support them. That's how they have money. It's from everyone buying their shit.
Exactly. I mean, they should be for the working class people because we support them. It's like the same thing with the politicians too. I mean, I like supporting the average Joe. I mean, I do love supporting the small business. I mean, I love small businesses in general. I mean, for my birthday, I was gonna go to Golden Corral, but I decided to go to a small business, and I end up having a better time.
Right. Hey, Vaughn, what were you going to say when I was bitching about pussy hats?
Oh, I was wondering if there was an after hours with, say, someone that watched Anna Kasparian, or an after hours for someone who watched, let's see, Tucker Carlson. What would their discussions be like?
That'd be very interesting.
Wow. Well, for Anna Kasparian and any TYT thing except Jimmy Dore, I would assume it would just be nonstop stupid Trump shit. I mean, pretty
exactly.
That's what I
They would just circle talk about Russia all night.
Yeah.
Triggered!
That's probably for Tucker Carlson, they'd probably cover the corruption and the Democratic Party, so
Yeah.
I'd probably watch
Wasn't
that.
Tucker Carlson on that show? Is Hardball? What kind of damn name is Hardball? It's like,
thought
might
that
as well.
was-
I'm gonna kick your ass. I mean,
I thought it was something
I'll be
else.
right
Okay. I thought Chris Matthews was Hardball.
Hardball.
Or is it something else?
No, that you're right. That is Hardball's Chris Matthews. Oh, his voice. Oh my god.
Angry Cascadian is over on chat saying they'd wear ass hats.
How about turd hats?
What I gotta do the next time is try to get the live chat feed on our screen, or at least on the live stream. So
I forgot all these other people are listening.
yeah.
They're hanging out. They're
Yeah.
saying a lot of stuff over here.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
there's 23 people watching, and they're having fun.
I know.
Well, it's recorded too, right?
Yeah,
we're-
but it won't
we're
show
live.
on any of the live chats. But
Oh, okay.
in the future, if I put it in with the stream, when people watch it back, they can actually see everyone that live chats and what they're saying,
okay.
so they can follow along with what we're saying, and also what people are chatting with in the live chat.
That gives more people a voice.
Right. I think that's important. I mean, really, because I said this before, I think that's one of the best things about, or maybe the best thing, other than Tim's truth telling and integrity, but the fact that he takes regular people.
And you know what's awesome? He just direct messaged me. He said I should run the after hours on his channel, so that can get more people
Okay.
viewing it
Oh,
and more
that'd be
people
awesome.
in.
That would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would be, yes.
definitely. So yeah, but I think if we had that live chat, even though we're all big talkers, and but if we had, if someone's going, hey, that one's talking too much, probably me. But but we could read what people, if they want to, expand on a certain thing or whatever. So
I don't think you'll be able to see it on the screen that we're all looking at right now.
right, but we could have
when
it
people
up.
play back the video or something like that, they'll be able to see it. Or if they just watch the screen, they
Well,
could-
would we be able to pull it up on a separate little thing where we can, like, while we're on, we can see what people are typing?
I'll try to do that. It may be difficult.
Get on that, Vaughn, right now.
Yeah.
Don't have enough to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, y'all are gonna have to let me know if I get too talkative, because since we've been on, I've been drinking, and the more I drink, the more talkative I get. So I don't mean to talk over anybody.
You're making me thirsty.
I think it just shows how passionate all of us are, And for me, like I said, I don't have many people in my community that I can talk to about it, so and really be. So I think it's good.
Yeah, it
This
is true. Like I don't think there's anyone that I know around here, even any of my friends that I can talk to about like what we're talking about, all the issues. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about if I talk about Seth Rich, they'll be like, "Oh boy,
Mhm.
I'm the crazy uncle," right?
I live in Atlanta, so it's like I live in a blue city in a red state in a purple country.
Yeah. Where in Atlanta are you?
I'm in Sandy Springs. It's funny. I grew up here, and then I moved to Oregon, and I lived in Portland for 8 years. So, really experienced the Northwest, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. Oh my goodness. But out there, right in Portland, it's very, very liberal, extremely, liberal, progressive, Democrat, whatever you want to call it. I thought that the second time Bush got reelected, I thought it was going to like a national day of mourning. Everyone was literally depressed. You could just, it was
Sorry.
horrifying. It was like everyone was just, oh, and but then coming back to Atlanta again, it's very different. I mean, it's a really different scene. Because you've got a very international city. We've got the huge airport here. So it's extremely international. There's people from all over the place. And you can meet people that are all sorts of ways, but I would say that, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of really close friends out here that I can really talk to about this kind of thing, because most people are either super Republican or they're sold out Democrats who love Hillary and Obama. So it's very tough. Yeah.
You wanna hear something funny? So the one person that I actually hang out with on a somewhat regular basis, who's my age, our daughters are friends, and we go out for dinner once a week. She's from Russia.
Oh, so cool.
Oh boy,
I knew it.
I knew it.
Comrade.
Ironic.
I
Let me
know.
get the tinfoil hat.
And
Just kidding.
our daughter was actually at our Russian friend's house when we went out to see Lee Camp. And so it's funny, like total coincidence, and she actually can't stand Putin. She's been here since she was like 24. But I can kind of talk to her about it, and she's told me she held her nose and voted for Hillary because she's liberal, but when she lost, she was like, it needed to happen.
Yeah.
And her parents voted for Trump, and she's become a lot more middle of the road since. But she's just not as into it as I am, so I don't bring it up a lot.
Well, what's funny is that I would find that most people that voted for Hillary really didn't have any super strong feelings about it. Like you said, they held their nose. They were sort of like, well, she's just a little bit less embarrassing than Trump. You only have like a certain faction that are like the bought in, crazy over the top pussy hat people. And then you got the rest of the people that vote for Hillary. They're like, big deal.
Yeah.
But it's like funny, the aftermath. It was like, don't cry about Hillary. Be mad at Hillary. It's her fault.
Really?
That's why I gave TYT so much of a leeway, because I thought, well, they were kind of wrapped up in the narrative, and they thought that Hillary was the best way. Because, there's a lot of, like, immigrants that work there at TYT, or, their family are, they're immigrants. And I thought, well, they're afraid of the deportations and stuff. That's why I gave them so much leeway during the primaries. But, now it's just like it's over, and I just can't excuse it anymore.
Yeah. Do you think if Bernie runs in 2020, he'll be interviewed by TYT again? Because he hasn't been back on since.
Wow, that's a good question.
Oh, they'll jump
I don't
all
know.
over that again. They will jump. TYT, Jank's going to be all over that.
Triggered.
Well, no, I mean, because he'll want to be on what's popular. I mean, the way I see him is the second that in Philly, DNC week, when he came, or whatever, right after Bernie gave in, Jank just pivoted to what he's going to go with, what's going to get him.
But isn't Bernie, and especially Tulsi, really popular right now? So why aren't they interviewing them now?
Wow, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
Oh, big point right there. That is a huge point right there. I mean, honestly, it's like they're like, you know, establishment media, but under the independent name. I mean, they're not grassroots. They're just like the DNC. It's like it is kind of like 2016 all over again. You know, Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. Let's support Hillary. Hillary this, Hillary that. Donald Trump is a loser. I was like, you supported a candidate who's a loser. Honestly, even H.A. Goodman even pointed it out that she would lose.
Yeah.
And they had the audacity to attack H.A., Tim, Niko, anyone that gets in their way, they just attack. I mean, honestly, I see TYT as trigger yelling trolls. I mean, they get triggered by the truth, and honestly, they're just completely silent. Honestly, I just don't like how silent they really are.
Yeah.
When it comes to the real issues. I mean, I call it they focus on the safe space issues. Like, oh, let's focus this is a safe issue. Oh, we can't have critical thinking. Oh, but we're pretending to be we're pretending to be independent media, but we're working for the establishment because we want to please the establishment all the time. And
Eric, you know what you're saying is a lot of some of those points that the fellow Jeff made, you know, the other day with talking about how, you know, a politician will not say yes or no. You know, if you ask them a straight question, you'll get a 5-minute speech and no answer.
Exactly.
And they'll dance all around the real issues of healthcare and poverty and the prison culture and how much money we throw at the, you know, military industrial complex, but they won't answer that. They'll talk about other things that really don't matter. You know, things are just sort
it
of.
always amazes me how much they can talk and how little they can say.
So true. So true. That's
well,
really
isn't that really why Trump, I mean, a lot of why he had such a following is he just, I mean, even though half of it, or whatever, 3/4 of it was bullshit, who knows? But he was speaking in a way that was not, you know, that sounded like real, so.
It's symbolism over substance. No substance.
Yeah, but it appealed to people, you know.
They like the show. A lot of it's about the show. That's why we don't get a Dennis Kucinich or Ron Paul. They don't have the sex appeal of Obama. That's the truth. There's a lot to that.
Right.
You know. And then you get Trump, and even though he's the funniest looking thing you ever saw, he's a celebrity. He had a TV show, and people go, "Yeah, I like the Celebrity Apprentice. I like that show." And yeah, it's dumb. It's the idiocracy stuff.
Are we?
I think that there's.
No.
Yeah, I think they're going to latch onto that like celebrity thing. You know, like they're going to say, well, Trump won because he was a celebrity and he had name recognition. So I feel like, especially like George Clooney or Amal Clooney, they're going to run one of them because you know, they have the celebrity status. Plus, they kissed up to Hillary's ass during the primaries. So run one of them and see if it works.
I mean, if I were George Clooney and like find out that like Hillary Clinton called black youth super predators, I would be like, hell no. I mean, it's like, and he was like he was so shocked about Trump winning that he thought Hillary Clinton had a shot. But you know, it was kind of funny. It's like, oh, I hope that he doesn't destroy the planet, but Trump ain't gonna destroy the planet. I mean, that's like some lunatic idea of like, you know, Trump. It's like he's not gonna destroy the planet.
Wow.
Yeah, like you'd like to think that these people aren't self-destructive, but they're addicts, right? And when addicts are in charge of making decisions, like they'll just do whatever it is that feeds their addiction. They don't give a shit about like long-term results. They just want that right now. Like if you offer an addict $20 or you'll give them $100 tomorrow, they'll take that $20 today rather than that $100 tomorrow. And that's exactly what these politicians and corporations are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Stevie, your camera.
Long-term consequences.
Oh,
consequences and repercussions.
Stevie, your camera or something, webcam fell off or something.
Yeah. I had to step away from the computer. I'll be right back.
And Surreal's on, but I don't hear any audio. Like some of you missed the last couple of after hours. So what are your thoughts on Ro Khanna?
Well, if I may start, I will say that he came across very nervous for one thing. He talked super fast. He blinked a lot. So he seemed very scared of saying the wrong thing or saying something that could get him in trouble in his political career. That was very obvious. He was being really jittery about, better not say that, better not go too deep there. Unfortunately, yes, he did come across as mostly another guy who's been or is continuing to be groomed as a typical corporate type politician, career politician. He's a young guy too. He's only my age, and it's like, darn, and he's already that sunk into it. But the thing about politics, it's really always very interesting to me, and some people might agree or not agree with this statement. I don't necessarily agree or completely disagree, but many times you think maybe we can't get a completely altruistic leader because people that are completely altruistic don't seek that kind of power. And the other thing that I find is I think that sometimes political office is sort of like the Lord of the Rings. It's the ring of power, and everybody thinks they'll go in with these good intentions, and I'm uncorruptible, and I won't do something bad once I've got the power, once I got the ring. But then they get the ring, and the ring itself is corrupt, and so no matter how good you are, it's going to corrupt you.
But it's happened in the past. Very rare instances, like Cincinnatus. He was someone in Rome that was called upon to take power and do something, and then he gave up that power after he accomplished it, and that kind of was the.
And some of the best people are that way, like Jimmy Carter. They do better after they get away from their corporate politics.
And that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Should we have politicians as a career? Basically, should it be just ordinary people's duty to have a public service and then get out?
It's that way in New Zealand. Did you know that? In New Zealand, you actually have to. I have a friend down there, and he said at different times you have to do a year of some kind of public or government service, and that's how they do it. Because then you don't get into, too hardcore and nothing becomes your precious little baby that nobody else can handle, and it keeps it clean.
In actuality, the founding fathers of the country didn't intend to have career having a career in politics. And the reason that you don't want to have it is you got some people that's already in the Senate that are very powerful, like Mitch McConnell and even with Chuck Schumer. Once they get that power, they can't seem to release it.
That's right.
I jokingly like to say this because with the way the Senate is structured, they have their decorum, but there are moments where I would tell my friends and family, I said it would be kind of nice to see an old-fashioned brawl once. I'd like to see Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer at it, literally, kind of. Not really punching on each other, but darn close to it or something. And, you guys, you don't like each other. Why don't you just call out and say, in there? And they use the polite language, all that. I think where I'm going with it, but it's kind of like, you guys really can't stand each other. So why don't you just come out and say it and that? And then, which is, it would just be hilarious. Just do it for a day or something. What do you mean? No sergeant at arms, no Capitol Police, just I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the Republicans don't cut that out in their budget. I mean, they got everything else cut out. But why don't they just take that away and see what happens? Now, I'm not advocating violence. But it's just kind of.
I know what you mean.
You want to get your money's worth. You're looking for some kind of show, right?
Yes, I mean, rock 'em, sock 'em,
See them come to blows on the Senate floor once in a while. At least you know they care.
Exactly.
They can back it up with a punch.
And you see you remember the rock 'em, sock 'em? You have the red one and the blue one.
Yep.
I like that.
You know that's
If they're acting that child, if Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell are acting so childish, they should just play that instead and see which one wins.
Exactly.
That's like the old idea of, round up all the crazy religious people and let them just fight amongst themselves. Just let them duke it out. Don't get us involved.
Yeah.
Then you got no innocent bystanders.
Anyway, so that it would just be kind of, in all honesty, it's just that, that with all the corruption of that, and the thing that I would like to see happen, and it's one of those, in my dreams, pal, department, but I would like to see them that they should have. The NSA should have cameras in their offices showing them who the lobbyists and the special interests are, till you get to call them out, and then you see them on screen of that.
Yeah.
Why should they be privileged to have it? They should be have security cameras on them so they can get accountable to everybody else, and then have a campaign promise of it and this coming. You will agree, more or less. Can you agree to have this on it? If you're not for corruption, you will actually allow this to happen, because quite frankly, the Congress is being controlled by special interests of that, and everybody, most people, thinking knows this, that's what's happening of that. So. And then validating what you guys were saying before about, they just go and they say it and then they become corrupt. Well, that's because it's a totally different game when they're in government, because they're being told as to how
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the problem of why you don't want to have career politicians to begin with.
Right.
So,
Correct.
I think Robert C. Byrd is a great example of that. I mean, we have courthouses and things named after him. I cannot imagine being somebody that is a minority that is going to the courthouse and seeing that a racist the courthouse is named after a racist,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he was in there how many years? But in the 21st century, he thought it was okay to use the N-word. I mean,
wow.
We cannot have career politicians. There needs to be term limits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wasn't Trump saying that? Is he following through on any of those things he said? Like, wasn't he saying there should be term limits and he was going to do something about that? Does anybody know? I'm not really.
I'm not sure about that.
I've been following too much.
Me either.
But I mean, everyone knows he's not always telling the truth. He'll say one thing, he'll say the opposite. And
master of double talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about
that's for sure.
Newcomers going into politics is you can't have the videos of them saying one thing and doing another thing, except once they get into politics, you'll see it. And so when they run again, you're going to see a lot of hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
And so newcomers kind of have a better shot at being a president than someone who's been in office for a long time. And that was probably Hillary Clinton's big issue. And that's why Bernie Sanders was so great, because he's been in office for such a long time, but everything that you try to find from what he said before, he's been doing all the time.
Yeah.
and of course now with the Supreme Court ruling about having money in corporations or people, that really screwed things up. And apparently, it's more than just that particular case, but there was a case that was before that that also has to be overturned. You have to overturn two things in order for that to reverse it, so that any ordinary American can actually run for office for president without having any of this. Well, you have to have $3 million stuff because that it that dog ain't hunting, I guess. It's just not. So stating the obvious is that there just simply have to be a movement to kind of stop that part of it in order for any of this stuff to kind of carry on and to move forward. But that may not be. I'm hopeful that it will be in my generation that has to turn around, because it's going to get worse before it gets better, and I like to be wrong on that one.
There's a lot of things I'd love to be wrong about.
It's always good to keep optimism, though.
Yes.
It's always good to keep optimism around.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, there's a couple people over here in the chat talking about like the stuff down in the South and the Confederate stuff, and there's been a lot going on down here. It's kind of interesting. Them taking down like the monuments or the plaques or the different battle stuff, and I have a real mixed feeling about that. It's funny. M99 just said she had a Confederate ancestor. So did I. On my dad's side. Funny enough, I'm related to Thomas Jefferson directly on my mom's side. So I have a interesting combo going on in my background. But to me, it's like I don't personally want Confederate flags or things like that on federal buildings and such. But at the same time, there's a thing inside me that says, if you try to whitewash a negative history or a mixed history, you're doomed to forget it. You can't get rid of history, and you don't want to over glorify it, but you do want to be aware of it. You want to learn from it. You want to become better from it. My family, my ancestors, they never had slaves or cotton or giant plantations. They were always poor. They were sharecroppers. My Aunt Lenora, she hated the movie Gone with the Wind. Because she said, and my dad was like, well, why do you hate it so much? She said, because it's all about the rich people. There's nothing about what most Southern people really went through down here at all. There's nothing real in it. It's all about the rich ruling class. And so I would say that it's funny, as much as the South gets known for its, racism, a lot of the good things go really overlooked. It's almost like they don't want to see the fact that in a lot of communities in the South, there's less racism. And I've experienced some racism even on the West Coast that blew my mind compared to the South. Because, a lot of times the poor whites and poor blacks, after the war, they had to come together. They start working together and saying, look, we got nothing left, but we're going to start making something of what we've got. So I love the Southern cooking. I love, just the whole thing.
Hospitality.
And it's a shame that, people let that get in the way. For me, there's no color. I don't see color. I see people, and I don't judge people on anything that they look like. It's their integrity. It's their character. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I was thinking about it today. I said, what could you imagine in Germany if they had torn down Auschwitz? And I feel like almost if that had happened in America, we'd probably have torn it down because it was just so negative and painful. But they left it there because, look, this happened. Don't deny it. Learn from it. Take away a message from it. Be more peaceful. Be more compassionate. Don't repeat the mistakes of the past. And I feel like I wish we had more of that attitude here, But of course, I'm an old Firefly fan, so I gotta say,
I love Firefly.
Yeah. My line is, I reckon every man ever got a statue put up of him as one kind of sumbitch or another.
Whenever I look at the co-opting movement, I always think of Serenity, the movie, where what's his name? He was the preacher or whatever. he says they'll sidle up to you and smile. That's how they approach you, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at that point, I like that idea. I mean, think about the swastika. It was always a symbol of good until the Nazi Germany, and now it's banned everywhere. But instead of just kind of getting rid of it, just trying to bring it back as the good symbol rather than
You'll
the bad
see it
symbol.
in Tibetan Buddhist art. All,
They co-opted it.
Images
It's
of
just like,
Go ahead.
good.
Go ahead, Stevie.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, they just co-opt it. I mean, like, they take something that's good. I mean, the people that are on the left now can't even identify what they are. If you say leftist, if you say progressive, it's a loaded term, no matter what you say. So, I mean, they co-opt it so you cannot even identify yourself. I mean, they have a war on even language now, to where, like, everything is this double meaning, and you have to, like, just completely, like, kill your point by over-explaining it to where you can't even communicate with anybody.
Hey guys, I hate to do this because I can talk about stuff forever, but
yeah, it's getting late.
It's getting late.
well, I have a spinal fluid leak, so it's like
baby has to get going too. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to lie down now and like do this.
Good too.
I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm fine. I just need to lie down, and it is 2:50. So
yeah.
Yeah.
had a good
It is
run,
getting
and,
late. Oh my God, we've been on for over 2 hours.
Yes, it's been a long after hours.
yeah.
If we ever get a cornbread convention going, I think we'll be there for weeks.
Yeah.
No, it's
Bring some corn.
I can bake the cornbread, y'all. I know how to do it.
I like what Broken Carpenter had to say, though I know the other caller was right too, that everybody is upset and everything because of what's going on, but we still do need to take a break. Like, you gotta have at some point, like, I don't remember, it was like a week or so ago, I think it was after the oh no, it was after all the Jordan, all that stuff. I was just like, oh my God, I have to just take a break for like a day from all of it, you know, or the Seth Rich thing. I mean, I can't really stay away from it for very long, or reading political stuff, but we got to breathe. So, okay. And I need a burrito. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Enjoy that burrito.
It's time for my dinner at 10 a.m.
Wow. Okay. Well, nice. We'll try to do another after hours show, and I think Kelly or Eric will host it. So
okay.
I'll host Monday.
Okay.
Monday.
All right.
It'll be the super triggered edition.
Yeah.
Ooh, no sellouts.
No sellouts!
But I love no sellouts. I always make it a part of my Monday. Nothing gets in the way of that cornbread. That's my cornbread.
All right. Good night,
All right. Good
everyone.
night, everybody.
Have
Have a
a
good Memorial Day
good night.
weekend.
Also, have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Thanks,
everybody in the chat.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Also, have a great Memorial Day weekend as well.
Yes. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
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 All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. I'm ending the meeting. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And meeting for all.